Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, and this time reviewing on Untold Tales of Spider-Man, issue number 11. Now, as you know, a couple years ago I did try to review Untold Tales of Spider-Man, and I picked up a whole series from Comic-Con, and I now have issue 11. So the cover you have is Eel and Electro holding Spider-Man's mask while it burns. And the story starts off how, in prison, a guy's talking saying, I still can't get over it. Max Dillon, the My Electro, beaten by a couple of school kids. It wasn't like that, Raymond. It was mostly Spider-Man, and so he hears something from outside. They mainly shield themselves for protection. A big blast comes out, where it turns out the guy's meant to be the Eel, and basically Electro kicks Raymond out, and basically they decide to form a partnership. Meanwhile, Peter Parker is making his costume, until we see someone breaking in, and it's saying, Peter Parker, who is it? And turns out it's someone called the Bluebird, who is actually known as Sally Averill. Yeah, her costume kind of reminds me something from Batman-ish. So pretty much Sally's pointing out that she's going to become a superhero, and she even got Jason's father to make the costume gadgets and that, even though he had no idea that it was meant to be for a costume and that, and even wants Peter to take pictures of her. But Peter Parker refuses, and even Sally decides to blackmail him. So Peter decides to reveal what he's been doing in his spare time, and he's been taking pictures of Spider-Man, mainly himself, and leaving Flash flabbergasted, which is going to prove to be Peter's downfall in some way. So pretty much the teacher's left impressed, and pretty much after this, Flash decides to realise that maybe Peter isn't a bad guy, and decides that he wants to be Peter's friend. And we're introduced at the malt shop, or a restaurant, where basically Peter hears a news report about Electro and that, and Peter's like, look, I've got to go. Thanks for the soda, but of course, right, Spidey's gonna show up, and you gotta take photos. And this kind of becomes Peter's downfall a bit, because keep in mind, since Flash won't leave him alone, and that he's meant to be Spider-Man, this is going to be kind of a costly mistake. So after this, they pretty much make a break for it, and Peter puts a spider tracer on their getaway ship, and Flash wonders, you know, Captain America and the Fantastic Four and that are all busy, but Spider-Man should have been here. But he points out that, you know, he's an unpredictable guy, but that's going to happen. So, thankfully, Flash managed to get Peter to the Bugle without him getting in his way, and Jameson's like, these pictures, they're not just as good as your previous work, Parker. Well, and so pretty much Babe Brant still gives Peter the silent treatment after what happened to her brother with Blackie Gangston. But he does break down and cry, and after this, Aunt May shows up to point out that Peter got a phone call from Betty Brant, but Peter has to quickly take down Electro and Eel, where they're basically working together and basically plan to take over the power plant, and says, we have to do it. It takes out the station, and it'll black out most of Brooklyn. That's let them know we're serious, and we better pay up. And so Spider-Man shows up, and pretty much this draws the attention of other people around New York, and so Sally shows up as Bluebird. And pretty much Peter points out that, you know, you shouldn't be here. And Bluebird points out that she's got rubber boots that will protect her from electricity, and even bluebird eggs filled with ether. And Electro points this out that, saying, you mean the stuff that evaporates so quickly that you've got to hold it in a pad over someone's face for it to do any good? Okay. So I've still got a few things to learn. And so, pretty much, Flash, Liz, and Jason see what's going on, and decide to get into see the action. And pretty much, Peter has a special anti-magnetic intivator, which he used from his last battle with Vulture. And this causes them to get stuck together, and Bluebird stupidly knocks them out, where Peter basically berates her for it and says, well, oops. And so after this, Electro escapes, but swears to work alone again. So pretty much, Flash says, Parker, did you talk to Spidey? Did you tell him I wanted to meet him? And so Peter basically points out that Spider-Man doesn't like him, Peter himself, and that, he has his reasons. And this is the moment where you can tell Flash goes back to hating Peter, and it goes back to the status quo. And you've got, in the end, Bluebird signing autographs to Liz, Jason, and Flash, given the fact Jason is aware Sally's Bluebird, and Peter is left with one question, is what to do about her. And yeah, this is literally the story. So what I think, it's a pretty good issue. I think had Spidey been a bit more reasonable, him and Bluebird could have been good partners, but it's definitely a good issue. So it deserves a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.